Hey, welcome back to Have a Good Time. This is your host, John Davey. Thanks for listening. Uh, Please remember to hit the subscribe and like buttons, stuff like that. It'll help me out. So, today I was thinking about a couple of things. One, my friend Dustin, who sometimes listens to this show, recorded one of his own sort of daily podcast videos. I don't know if he said he's not going to do it every day, but maybe once a week or something. And I hope to keep listening to those. It was great. And I enjoyed his musings, and he was talking about sort of loss of or lack of motivation, and he was questioning, Socratically, whether that was came along with just the advancement of age, like going into his 30s, mid 30s, or if it had something more to do with something else. And so he was just asking questions about it, and I thought it was good. And part of that was I don't have the answers to those, by the way, but part of that is part of his recording was he was saying that he was trying to extract certain platitudes from his vocabulary, and I thought that was sort of an interesting idea, and I've been turning that over in my head for the last couple of days, and I also have done that, and he was saying that it's really hard to do because like once you have sort of a set group of pet phrases, something like saying something like that's interesting, or that's it's basically, if it's interesting, then you don't have to say that's interesting. It just sort of ignites other thoughts, other streams of thought, etc. So I thought that was kind of to break my own rule here. I thought that was kind of an interesting concept, and it's something actually that I've tried. I've been trying just in normal conversation with people to extract certain phrases and words from my vocabulary. One of which is the word just, and not as in justice, but as in just, as in a sort of diminishment. Oh, it's this thing, but it's just this or that. So, for instance, when I'm having a conversation with my partner, I'll say, I was just trying to blah blah blah. If I'm explaining something or have to reiterate something that I was saying, I can say. Oftentimes, I'll say, I was just A, B, or C, and that is, I've realized oftentimes for me, I'm sure it's not the same way for other people, but oftentimes for me, doing that is a way to sort of preempt someone's negative judgment of me. So I'll sort of diminish the effect of what I'm trying to say in order for it not to land so that they won't make a negative judgment about me. So it's kind of a shitty thing to do to yourself, I've realized. And it's just right now, currently it's sort of just a force of habit, but I'm trying to break that by pushing through and saying what I actually mean rather than diminishing it in hopes of padding someone's response to it. So that's one thing. The other thing is the saying something like, that's interesting. That's not something I've really been trying to cut out, but it's something that I've noticed that when, and I've noticed it in the context of other people saying it. So they'll say, a conversation will sort of wind to a stall, and then somebody will say, that's interesting, to sort of increase the social lubricant, as Dustin was kind of talking about. He said the only time where like maybe a platitude is really useful is if you're in a social situation where you don't know the person that well or something, and you're just kind of trying to apply a social lubricant. And I thought that was insightful, because it does have some value, of course, and it's either that or decreasing your own anxiety at not having something to say, which I guess is kind of saying the same thing. So, thanks everybody for listening so far. So I'm getting buzzed and emailed here. So, another thing that I was turning over, I had this crazy experience yesterday. I went to the dentist. Okay, so I signed up to get health insurance right through Obamacare because last year I didn't have health coverage. So when I was doing my taxes this year, I got penalized, and so I was like, okay, I might as well just get the freaking health insurance so I don't get penalized again next year. And I couldn't, like, basically they said you don't qualify for it because you make too little money, so you have to get, go through your state, and maybe you'll be able to get some help or whatever. So I qualified for Medicaid, which I wasn't trying to get. So I just got inundated with mail, and I got just sort of roped into the system. I guess I could have said no, I don't want it, but I just it's like I started getting all this stuff. So anyway, I have Medicaid now, which is a sort of weird feeling. I've never really had assistance, like any sort of like government assistance before, not food stamps, not anything. So it's kind of a weird feeling, but anyway, in order to keep it, I had to, or enact it. Essentially, I had to go get a doctor's appointment. So I got a physical exam, and then like last week, and then I went to the dentist yesterday, which was already scheduled since last summer. So I had this dentist appointment scheduled since last summer. Last summer, I paid to get 2 teeth extracted right next door to each other. So I had this meeting scheduled. So before I paid for myself, and then now I have this dental insurance, which I've never had before. So I went in. I thought that my appointment yesterday was to get fillings on one of my teeth, fillings on 1 or 2 of my teeth, something like that. And they said, you're scheduled for a cleaning today. And I was like, I thought I was here for, this other like procedure, right? So then they said, no, it's just for the cleaning today. And then I said, by the way, I have insurance now. And the woman at the front desk, her whole demeanor changed, and she was like, "Oh, you have insurance? Okay, well, yeah, we'll figure out whatever you need to do." And I thought that was kind of strange. I was like, "Okay, well, whatever." So I went back, started to get my cleaning, and I was asking the lady, the dental assistant, questions about the sort of insurance. And I said, I'm like maybe changing jobs here soon. I'm not sure if I'll have the insurance. And she was sort of confused by that, because at first she sat down and was looking at my records from last summer, and she saw that I had been a self-pay customer. And then when I told her that I had insurance, her whole demeanor changed, and she was suddenly friendly and warm, and was like offering me all these, things. Of course, so I sort of understand the basic part of it, right? Okay, if you pay by yourself, then, then you pay the amount that they give you. That's like, here's what we charge to people for paying themselves. And then here's what but then if you have insurance, of course, they can charge the insurance company, blah, 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 X amount of dollars. But it's not exactly the insurance company. It's like it's being paid for by other people's productivity. So I already have this sort of, some qualms about that, because it's other people's productivity in the, in the short or medium term, or it's deferred way down the road, and either my kids or other people's kids are going to have to pay for it. So I have some sort of qualms about it. But But then when I told her, like, I'm not sure exactly how long I'll have this, and I was a little bit annoyed because I thought I was going to get, fillings on one tooth, and she's like, no, we're just going to do the cleaning. So then I was all confused because I thought that she was saying that if I wanted to pay for the procedure myself, then they wouldn't give me access to those services. But if I had insurance, oh yeah, all of the services are available to you. Otherwise, I can only get the cleaning. And I thought that was really weird. So this is like a dental, what would you call it? A dentistry clinic. So I think that they get some grants from the government or somebody, some donor, I don't know who, and then they use some of that grant money to lower the cost of what they charge people directly who maybe don't have, insurance. Okay. So I kind of understand that, but I just thought it was weird that the whole incentive structure essentially was all topsy-turvy and twisted around. Like when I said I might not have insurance, but I'd be happy to pay for it myself, there was this like this what was this warm, sort of inviting, friendly atmosphere became suddenly this strained, awkward interaction. It was weird. It was like that. My thought in that moment was, it's weird that self-reliance has become, like, given these specific circumstances, self-reliance in this instance has become kind of a almost pariah. It's like, or not pariah. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like self-reliance has become this sort of stigmatized, like, I want to do this. I want to take care of this myself. I'm happy to pay for it and use the money that I've worked hard to do so that other people don't have to pay for my, like bad teeth or whatever, which is the result of a whole series of decisions and other circumstances, some that I had control over, some of which I haven't. So, but because I wanted to do it myself, it was like this weird, like, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that for you then, feeling. And I don't think that was just my insecurity, because I felt, I was like, whatever. But I did feel a little bit annoyed about it. So anyway, if somebody, I'm sure any of you who are like sort of listening to, or like familiar with Know Their Way Around, like Austrian economics, of course, government assistance creates a whole other set of incentives and disincentives, and people respond to incentives, and so it changes their behavior, of course. But if somebody could help me unravel that little bit of that mess, the only question I had essentially at the end of it was like, okay, I can understand that if they can charge the insurance company a higher price, then of course they're going to charge a higher price, and that's more preferable for the clinic and the money that they can get. Okay. What I didn't understand was that on my receipt when I left, what they told me at the beginning it would cost was the same as what ended up on my receipt. And of course, I didn't have to pay for it in that moment. Okay, it's like supposedly covered, but so it's covered in that moment, but the amount was the same as what they had quoted me. So I didn't think that they were charging the insurance company a higher rate. So that was kind of confusing, why the whole awkwardness, social awkwardness and strained interaction came from. So anyway, I know that was sort of like a little bit convoluted and not, my storytelling skills are not the best, but if somebody out there can help me unravel why this potentially happened, that would be that'd be cool. Well, I hope you guys are having a good time. Thanks for listening. Again, hit the like or subscribe button, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.